Hello and welcome to News Now. We begin in Borno, northeast Nigeria, where 6 workers of humanitarian group Action Against Hunger ACF are pleading with the federal government and the Christian Association of Nigeria to secure their release from Boko Haram captivity. The 8 workers were abducted by the insurgents last week while traveling to an internally displaced persons camp in Borno State. In a 3-minute-long video, one of the workers, identified as Grace, pleaded with the Nigerian government to act fast to secure their release to avoid them suffering the same fate that befell the abducted humanitarian workers working for the Red Cross. The video showed Grace and 5 of our male colleagues sitting in front of what looks like a white tent with UNHCR inscription on it. She said she doesn't know where she currently was and claimed that Leah Sharibu and one other abducted female, who she identified as Alice, have been killed by the sect, following the slow response of the government to secure their release. Meanwhile, Action Against Hunger has released a statement confirming that the people in the video are their missing workers. The federal government is, however, yet to react to the development. President Muhammadu Buhari will on Friday leave Abuja for Monrovia, Liberia, to attend the 172nd Independence Anniversary celebrations of the country. President Buhari will be the special guest of honor at the event and will also receive the Grand Cordon of the Knighthood of Venerable Order of the Pioneers, Liberia's highest national honor. In a statement, Senior Special Assistant to the President on Media and Publicity, Garba Shehu, says the award will be presented by the government for Buhari's outstanding and distinguished service in international affairs, government, religion, art, science, or commerce, and also for singular acts of philanthropy and deeds of heroism and valor. President Buhari will be accompanied by Governors Kayode Fayemi, Abdurrahman Abdurrazak, and May Malabuni of Ekiti, Kwara, and Yobe states respectively, as well as the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ambassador Mustafa Suleiman, and other top government officials. The president is expected back in the country later on Friday. Meanwhile, President Muhammadu Buhari has expressed willingness to work with new Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, Boris Johnson. Buhari said this in a goodwill message where he congratulated Johnson on assuming the new position. He said, quote, "In Nigeria, we respect the choice of British people and we are ready to work with the new Prime Minister to improve our close relations." The president also felicitated with Theresa May for providing what he described as visionary leadership for the UK. He further added that Britain has been one of Nigeria's most reliable allies, especially in supporting the efforts of his administration to improve security and stamp out corruption and graft. A total of 20 ministerial nominees have now been screened by lawmakers at the Nigerian Senate. While 10 nominees were screened on Wednesday, another 10 were screened during plenary today. Senator Tayo Alashadura from Ondo State was the first nominee to be screened today. He was followed by Mustafa Shehuri and Abubakar Aliyu. Other lawmakers screened today are Senator Chris Ngige, Timpriye Silva, and Ramatu Tijani, just to mention a few. Screening for the 43-man nominees is expected to last till August 2nd.
We had the PIB, which had been on for almost 20 years, and in the 8th Senate, we tried to split the PIB into 4. The Petroleum Industry Governance Bill, the Administration Bill, the Host Community and Impacted Bill, and the 4th one, which is very, very important, which is the one that will dictate how much money we are going to get in this country. We call it the Governance Bill. Please, I will plead with Mr. President and my distinguished colleagues that this bill, especially the PIG bill, had been passed, but it has not been assented to by Mr. President. Please revisit this bill for the good of Nigeria.
This bill was sent to the Senate and the National Assembly, and then it took a life of its own. We ended up with so many versions of the bill, and we didn't even know which was which. it was a struggle to find the genuine bill from the executive arm of government at that time. In the 7th Senate, it came and it was not concluded by the National Assembly itself. In the 8th Senate, the National Assembly took the initiative to split that one bill into about 4. And we passed the PIGB, and of course, there were some issues. In this narration, it's clear that there were efforts, disparate efforts by the executive in the first instance, in the 6th and the 7th Senate, a solo sort of effort. And then in the 8th Senate, there was a solo effort by the National Assembly, and all failed. The option we have today is for the executive and the legislature to come together and look at how to go about this business of the PIB. Because since we tried individually and we failed, I think the time has come for us to sit together, work out either one petroleum industry bill or separate bills, but doing it together will give better chance of having a bill or bills that will be worked on by the National Assembly and assented to by the executive.
More than a month after the inauguration of the 9th National Assembly, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, has named the heads of the House standing committees. The head of the Green Chamber also announced the creation of 13 additional committees for the House. This now raises the total number of standing committees in the House from 96 to 109. The setting up of the committees follows the adoption of the report by an ad hoc committee reviewing the House standing order during plenary on Thursday. The House of Representatives has resolved to set up a committee to investigate abandoned projects of the federal government from 1999 till date. This followed a motion moved by Francis Udiok during the plenary session presided over by the Deputy Speaker Idris Wase. Leading the debate, Udiok expressed shock at the alarming number of abandoned projects in the country. The lawmakers said the projects awarded were estimated to be over 20,000 and payments of not less than 50% amounting to billions of naira had been made in advance. He listed some of the projects including important establishments like dams, hospitals, buildings, bridges, steel companies and roads. Now, activities have been suspended in the Ondo State House of Assembly after a snake fell into the chamber during plenary on Thursday. Lawmakers in the House had converged to discuss pending matters before the appearance of a snake which fell from the roof of the Assembly. The development forced the members to scamper to safety, leaving Thursday's proceedings disrupted. Now, the snake, however, escaped. Following this, the lawmakers resolved to suspend all legislative activities until the complex is renovated. A team of police officers have arrested a man suspected to be an arms supplier to suspected billionaire kidnapper Chukwudumeme Onwamadike, popularly known as Evans. The 46-year-old suspect, identified as Godwin Chinyere, was intercepted by operatives of the Intelligence Response Team (IRT) of the Inspector General of Police 2 years after Evans was arrested. The suspected arms dealer was said to have confessed selling 5 AK-47 rifles allegedly to Evans when he was interviewed. Chinyere told reporters that he was taught how to produce locally made guns from his boss, who he said was killed by security operatives for gun running. He, however, alleged that he had stopped the business and turned a new leaf, but fled and went into hiding. Members of Islamic State, Islamic Movement in Nigeria, IMN, have vowed to continue their protest for the release of their leader, Ibrahim El-Zakzaky. That's despite the killing of their members. The sect said this at the funeral ceremony of their dead members in Suleja, Niger State. Father of the slain boy called for justice while asking the government to take action against the alleged killing of the members of the Shiite group. The group's spokesman, Abdullahi Musa, have repeatedly claimed that their protests are peaceful and that all violent activities are instigated by operatives of the police force.
Very sad and at the same time very happy for the gift of martyrdom that was given to my son, Ali Ibrahim Suleiman. He's one of the 6 martyrs that were given funeral prayer just now. So I am feeling happy that he was given the gift of martyrdom. But I'm very sad that the Nigerian security, who were trained and paid to guard the citizens, they used the gun that was meant for the protection of the citizens to kill my son.
We felt very bad for the loss of our brothers and sisters, and at the same time I sympathize with the family of the police officer killed by the government on which he worked under. The police shot him from behind, and this is the impression they want to put to the masses that we are armed or we are attacking people. They vandalized people's vehicle yesterday. They set the NEMA post ablaze. These are things that happened that police officers did in order to justify what they did. There was a police officer, I caught my hand. I saw him, he was trying to set a vehicle ablaze. We chased him and he ran away. He went towards that NEMA, that fire service vehicle, and he set it ablaze and they were shooting. There was a brother that you see on pictures. He was lying down very opposite to the NEMA vehicle that was shot. This brother went there in order to chase that police officer that wanted to set that place ablaze, and they shoot him dead. So this is what they are doing. They have no reason of attacking innocent citizens, and they were looking for justification for the killing of innocent citizens. We protested. We started from Nitel Junction, and on arrival to Federal Secretariat, looking for a place to converge where we just speak to ourselves and disperse and talk to the pressmen, and they started shooting. And you can see how they were even chasing the press people. They even shot the channel television a COP member, and they killed him. And now they are trying to let the masses, to tell the masses that we are the ones that killed him. We are not armed. If we are armed, these people cannot face us. They are Boko Haram. They are bandits. Why can't they go and fight them? It's because they see we are unarmed. That is why they are killing us, shooting us, and this will never deter us from what we are doing. The only thing that will stop this protest is for the government to respect the law of this land and free our leadership.
Trafficking in persons NAPTIP has raised alarm at the new strategy being used by traffickers to deceive unsuspecting youth. The Director General of the agency, Julie Okadoni, made this known in Abuja during a press briefing to mark the 2019 World Day Against Trafficking in Persons. Okadoni said the new methods to lure innocent young people into trafficking include advertisements for vacancies, scholarships, and more. She is now calling on all Nigerians to ignore such advertorials and exercise caution before considering offers that seem too good to be true.
I wish to use this opportunity to alert the nation on the emerging tricks and trends in human trafficking, which should be urgently addressed in order to protect our loved ones. Due to the unbearable operational heat unleashed on the unpatriotic human traffickers in the country by operatives of NAPTIP, these criminal gangs have now devised other means of achieving their dastardly acts. Some of the tricks involve rolling out advertorials calling for the recruitment of young Nigerians as drivers, nurses, maids, and other professionals, fake offer of scholarship, non-existing football clubs in some of the notorious Middle Eastern countries. As lofty and enticing as these vague offers may be on the face value, it is clear that these young promising Nigerians are targets of organ harvesting and eventual death in the process, labor exploitation, and sex slavery. Many of them that have ignorantly responded to these invitations are going through hell. Many have died, and many may never be able to tell their story, while the few lucky ones are still brooding over their bitter experience.
Today, the United Nations and the government of Nigeria have the opportunity to join the international community to reflect on what each of us can do to decrease vulnerabilities to trafficking or the risk that follows from such vulnerabilities, particularly those affecting women, children, and young people. This year, we are focusing on highlighting the importance of government action, as the DG mentioned. But the call to action is not only to governments. We encourage everyone to take action to prevent this heinous crime.
Regulating and managing plastic waste have become a major challenge in Nigeria. To address this issue, the federal government have begun plans to place a ban on single-use plastics. Environmental activists have been reacting to the move by the government. This next report tells us more.
Statistics indicate that 1 million waste plastic bottles are churned out every minute across the world, while 5 trillion plastic bags are generated yearly. These items, which have fast become part of our daily lives, however, pose more threat than we know.
It's a common thing now that when we take any drink or we make use of any plastic bottles, we drop them off anywhere. You cannot amount the degree of danger it poses on us. When you take a look at all the drainage system, any drainage system anywhere, once you open it up, you see PET bottles everywhere. From our drains, they flow into the rivers and then into the sea. And when these things are things that are non-decaying, they don't decay, they remain the way they are. And the ones that find its way into the sea, they create a lot of water waste that affects the ecosystem of the animals that lives within in the sea. So apart from the fact that they create challenges for us in the mainland, they also create challenges for the creatures living within the water.
Mismanaged plastic waste in Africa is projected to rise to 10.5 million tons in the next 6 years, and Nigeria sits at the center of this looming disaster, ranking 7th on the list of largest plastic waste generating countries globally. With these grim statistics, lawmakers at the House of Representatives on May 21, 2019 passed the Plastic Bag Prohibition Bill, an act which forbids the use, manufacture, and importation of all plastic bags used for commercial and household packaging. But experts say the government needs to find alternatives before implementing the ban.
Before we can effectively, put that into action, we need to weigh in the lifestyle of our people, the culture, the norms, the traditions, and what they do when it has to do consumption and how we dispose our waste. What are the alternatives? Okay, fine. When we say we want to place a ban on plastic bottles, use of plastic bottles, what are the other options? So we need to ensure that there are options. Unfortunately, we are in a system where, recycling process is still far away from us. We have few companies who are actually connecting and they only mesh, this waste, but we don't have a treatment plant where they convert this waste into recycle. We can recycle them and make use of them for other items. We don't have that yet. So as a result of that, we are limited. So we need to work in that area where we have alternatives. Once there are at least a bit alternatives to cushion the effect of this ban, then fine, we are good to go.
About 31 African countries have placed some sort of restriction on the production and use of single plastic bags and bottles. But despite these efforts, the continent still struggles with effective waste management. This now begs the question, what else can be done to address this?
People need to understand the effect of this thing. The government needs to come in and look at and plan the environment very well, such that there will be waste bin everywhere, that people can always put up their waste, not until I get to my home or in my car. The culture behind use of waste bags, we need to also pass that information. We need to sensitize the people. They need to understand so that both the people and the government will be on the same page in effecting this new law. The authority in charge of waste collection, they need to be more proactive. You go in there, you clear the waste at all times, let people have that trust in you. The companies who are into production of the plastic waste need to be involved as well, because they are also stakeholders. They need to understand the dangers that their business activities poses on us. So we need to bring them in so that they get to understand this, so that they also inform their clients and the consumers on how best, for them to adopt the best practice in disposing their waste.
The plastic bag prohibition bill states that retailers who fail to offer a paper bag to customers at a point of sale is guilty of an offense. It also directs that any individual who goes contrary to the act will face a 3-year jail term or a fine of 500,000 naira. Companies also found guilty of the offences are liable to a fine of 5 million naira. Fidelia Aguncha, TV360, Nigeria.
We'll take a break here and we'll be right back. Do stay with us.
Corruption not in my country.
What do you want to buy?
Potato. Small baskets.
I want plantain. But why your plantain can't hard like this?
Madam, now the outside hard. Inside there, it is very soft.
Madam, wallahi make her no buy them. Make her show you something. What? What's in this one? Madam, this one now the chemical what they put on for the plantain make her ripe up.
So you dey put chemical for plantain where people go chop?
No water, no be chemical.
Water. You know say Pela I don't talk and say water and not be enemy. Drink am.
Where you collect that water, drink am.
I just stop finish. See my belly. It don't big. I just stop drink water finish.
Wait, you drink am now. I dey sell am plantain I go come put am for chemical because I want to make a ripe go. That one I talk and now corruption. Corruption. Not be for this kaswa, come not be for this country. Now me take am.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome to the business segment of the news. About 58 containers of tramadol and other prohibited drugs valued at 14.7 billion naira have been destroyed by the Nigeria Customs Service and the National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC. Controller General of the Customs Service, Ahmed Ali, who confirmed this, said the seized drugs were intercepted at various customs formations across the country. He added that the seizure had helped in stemming the spate of kidnapping, armed robbery, terrorism, and other social vices. Ali also added that over 50% of drugs seized in the country were confiscated in the southwest. Oil prices edged higher on Thursday amid Middle East tensions and a big fall in weekly U.S. crude stocks, but gains were stemmed by a frail demand outlook amid increasing signs of slowing global economic growth. Brent crude futures rose 28 cents to $63.46 a barrel, while U.S. crude was up 27 cents at $56.15 a barrel, having dropped 1.6% in the previous session. The overall sentiment in the market has darkened as investors worry that slowing global economic growth will weaken the demand for oil. Stock Market Review is up next after this break. As investors await a much stronger and sustainable catalyst for the equities market, trading closed bearish again, sustaining the trend from the previous session, I should say, as the all-share index further depreciated by 0.35%. Market capitalization also dropped about 48 billion naira at the close of trading today. Let's now take a look at the summary of activities on the floor of the market. A little over 359 million units of shares were traded on the floor of the equities market, and that summed up to about 1.89 billion naira, and that's low compared to 2.5 billion naira which was realized in previous session. And we see that on the losers chart, two of the market's highly capitalized equities, that's Dangote Cement and MTN Nigeria, impacted the market negatively with the weight of their fall, both losing 2 naira and 2 naira respectively. We see MTN closing, Dangote Cement closing 171 naira and MTN closing at 127 naira today. Forte Oil and Global Spectrum Energy Services PLC followed, with the value of their share prices also depreciating by 65 kobo and 55 kobo respectively. And when we put that together, that's a combined loss of them 13.15%. So the best performers now led by Flour Mill, and of course WAPCO also shook off losses from previous session to add up 25 kobo, and USCN as well as FCMB of the financial services sector also made significant gains. And to global markets now, FTSE and Dow Jones in the red, 0.17 for FTSE and Dow Jones. But of course, we see that Nikkei closed positive with 0.22% rise in key market indicators. That's it on Stock Market Review, but News Now will be right back after this break.
So, now, straight to business. Now, that case between State versus Femi Wale.
Femi Wale?
Yes.
Is he your son?
That's my heir apparent.
Did he actually kill the wife?
His juvenile delinquency, they must have taken some few bottles.
A man of 40. Juvenile delinquent?
Now, what do we do? I don't want him to go to jail.
We are very good friends. But for this, I cannot help you.
You know I was so nice to you in school. I took care of you.
I'll politely leave.
No, you can't leave. How much do you want me to pay?
Well, this is not about money. It's about the law. Bribing a judge to subvert the cause of justice is corruption. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Stop corruption now.
Tunisia's first freely elected president, Beji Essebsi, has died at age 92. Essebsi was admitted to hospital last month after suffering what officials said was a severe health crisis. They gave no further details about his health, but urged people to stop spreading fake news about his condition. In a statement on Thursday, however, the presidency confirmed his death. Essebsi was the world's oldest sitting president. He won Tunisia's first free elections in 2014, following Arab upsprings across the region. Nigeria's Super Eagles have moved up 12 spots in the July FIFA rankings to place 33rd in the world after winning bronze at the just concluded African Cup of Nations tournament, AFCON. In the rankings table released by the World Football Governing Body on Thursday, Nigeria garnered 1,481 points, as against 1,433 points as it did in June to place 45th. The movement has now placed Nigeria as the third in Africa, behind Senegal and Tunisia, who are 20th and 29th in the world respectively. Madagascar made a surprising leap at the AFCON quarter-finalists, clinched 96th spot, moving up 12 spaces. They're above Benin, who moved 6 spaces to take the 82nd position. And that's all right now on News Now on TV360 Nigeria. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.